Fate of the Furious, the 8th installment to the Fast and Furious franchise, and is directed by F. Gary Gray and stars Vin Diesel, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jason Statham, Ludacris, Tyrese Gibson, Michelle Rodriguez, Charlize Theron, Kurt Russell, Scott Eastwood, and many more. This movie is star-studded, and who knew that the Fast and Furious franchise would reach an 8th movie? Definitely not me. When I first watched I've only watched the first one, the 6th one, and the 7th one. After the first one, I sort of enjoyed it, didn't like it that much, so I didn't follow it. And I heard the 5th one was good. Until now, I still haven't watched it. I probably should. And the 6th one, I started getting back to it. I enjoyed it. The 7th one was great. It was emotional, great. How they deal with Paul Walker's death was great. And finally now, we have the 8th one. The main plot line behind this movie is that Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, he cares about family, right? Well, he go rogue in this movie, and it's because of Charlize Theron. And without spoiling too much, basically Dom go rogue. He's supposed to do some task for Charlize, and his team have to try to stop him, or things could go wrong, and eventually, you might expect, things go back to normal. And it's big car chase, heist, everything. And there is one scene in particular which they managed to top from the previous movie, which I'm impressed. I believe the airplane scene and the Abu Dhabi scene in the previous movies were amazing. There is one scene in particular in this movie which, when I say it, I'm like, holy shit. There is a lot of cars involved, and the stunts were insane. As you might expect, there's lots of action, right? Well, yeah. First of all, do not think of the physics in this movie, because if you do, you'll probably stressed out. Physicians who watch this movie, they'll probably lost all their hair, because they'll be pulling it out one by one every time one thing go wrong, because literally the laws of physics doesn't apply in this movie. At this point, the writers are like, you know what, the previous movie was good, how can we top this? I don't know, sir. What about we don't think about the laws of physics?
Oh, good idea, let's screw that. Let's go over the top. Ice will not break. Everything will not have any effect. No explosion. Yeah.
Good thing, sir. Anyway, that's how they go over the top. The laws of physics doesn't apply. So the action can go insane, which sometimes takes you out of the movie because you're like, that's unbelievable. But at the same time, you're like, you know what? This is Fast and Furious. Let them do what they want to do, you know. The performance in this movie was good. Diesel was great. Statham was great. They do comedic chops with Statham, which we've seen in Spy that he can do well, and they use him in this movie particularly well. Michelle Rodriguez was good, Kurt Russell was good, Charlize Theron was good, but my favorite star of the movie is, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Who knew the guy from Scorpion King? Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go ahead watch it. From Scorpion King would be a star, the biggest action star in this era. Seriously, think about it. He is the biggest action star. Jason Statham, he's in this movie. Vin Diesel is in the movie. Their stardom doesn't even reach the level of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Despite the great performance, I do feel there is a lack of chemistry. Of course, Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel have great chemistry with Ludacris and Tyrese too. But I do feel the lack of chemistry between The Rock and Diesel. There is rumors that off the camera, behind the scenes, they're having a feud or something like that. But yeah, you can feel the lack of chemistry, and they do miss Paul Walker's presence. You can sort of sense it in that way. The comedy was great. I really enjoyed the comedy. At times it might be corny and cheesy, but I enjoy it. I feel like there is the best amount of comedy in this movie in particular in comparison to the other in this franchise. Of course, I have an issue with this movie. It does lack story. And if you might say that if you're going to this kind of movie, don't expect story. Well, at this point, for me, Transformers and Fast and the Furious franchise are two franchises which I try to ignore the story points because they're just full of action just for fun, right? While as a critic, I have to judge it equally with other movies. So I feel like they do lack story, but the actions are over the top. And even though there is like questionable action scenes, there is also questionable storylines which makes you go like, what? How does that happen? Like, it doesn't make sense theoretically, which makes you like question stuff in this movie. I also have an issue with the directing, especially using shaky cams in action sequence. If you don't know, shaky cams is when you record and you want to fight So people usually do that for stars who cannot really do stunts, so they do shaking cams to make it look like it's a better fighting sequence. But in this movie, you got Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Vin Diesel, Statham, other stars which I'm not gonna mention, but they can do fight scenes. I don't know why they use shaky cams. Maybe they think it will be better, but in my opinion, probably would have been good enough without shaky cams because they know how to fight. And with the shaky cams, it sort of take me out of it because I'm like, what's the shaky cams? I can't see things clearly. I want to see them fight. So I feel like they shouldn't have used the shaky cams in this movie. Overall, it's a great movie. It's very fun, full of action, lots of car chase. If you love car chase, you'll definitely love this movie. Great performance, full of stars. But like I said, do not think of the physics because it will drive you mad. And some plot points might be questionable. And due to that, I'm giving Fate of the Furious a 7.7. Yeah. Guys, have you seen the movie? If you do, what do you think of it? Tell me in the comment section below. Which of the Fast and Furious movies is your favorite? My personal favorite, since I haven't watched the 5th one, is the 7th one. But I probably should watch the 5th one and probably change my mind because people say the 5th one is the best. I have no idea yet. But for me, the 7th one is the best so far. This one, I'll have to put it below the 6th. Well, probably the same level as 6 because it's pretty much over the top action scenes like usual. So anyway guys, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment in the section below what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to see more. There's gonna be more contents coming soon. And until next time, ciao out.